The trio leaves the school ground and goes a little a ways, passing a small alley between two houses to get back to the Namwon Main Street. Then going toward the direct south, toward the southern beach, far past the walls surrounding 𝒃'𝓈. They walk for a while, Timmy about to grab Walt's wheelchair, but Walt slapping his hand, trying to will himself around. Timmy gets in front where Xiao-lan is and walks besides, his flabby arms moving side to side, while Xiao-lan's tall ears move side to side and his black hair is messed up a little by the wind. A pretty calm, quiet walk in general compared to the chaos in the school. Then Walt's eyes brighten as a thought pops up in his brain. Wait, what about the Zhu gang? Xiao-lan turning behind, his big eyes looking down in thought and then looking forward and continuing. The walk, he answers. He doesn't know where you guys live. Plus, if he enters my dad's house, they won't be kicked through a wall. Plus, we will get beat up either way. It's better if we aren't in their territory when it happens. That's pretty optimistic. Walt state matter-of-factly, looking to Timmy and then away to avoid Timmy's stupid and invasive stare. How's that optimistic? Timmy once again, interjecting. Well, because the world isn't that simple. There's a lot of variables to consider such as if we Xiao-lan, whose attention was drawn into the nature. Birds chirping and flying, in a triangle formation above him. Together, companionship, home. He looked to the busy town life around him, watching people walking by, a couple holding hands, two elderly folk eating strawberry ice cream together. And ones who are walking alone, who had seemed professional and walking to who knows where. But Xiao sees their faces and all he sees is a depressing future, one filled with nothing but death scrolling and working a future that may be his. Though, it was hard to focus with the constant noise of the two irritating him. Let's just focus on walking, okay guys? They walk up some hills, passing into the forested tropical southern bottom coast of Taiwan, following an old ancient path that Timmy and Walt had been using for years to get home, Timmy having to forcibly push Walt's wheelchair through some ditches and high hills. Getting to a clearing by the coast, the moving soft waves of a sea, gently moving the sand underneath onto the sand and the purple-orange tinted sky in the clear, a sleepy bright orange sun lowering itself into the line between the sky and vast blue. Xiao-lan couldn't help but stop to look at it. Walt, even though crossing this path every day, always glares at it with hope in his eyes. Timmy reminding the two to stay focused and making a joke about not wanting to be out here until night. Walking down the final hill, they make it to Southern Beach in Pingtung County, South Taiwan, a little while from the southern edge of 𝒃'𝓈, that Xiao-lan lives and the middle school is. He had his thin headset on him, and he was listening to some music while the Toths went forward in front of him. He put in a green cassette tape in, Timmy looking behind with a "oh really" look on his face. A kid using tech over a half a century older than him is beyond Tim's understanding. Roads go ever and ever on over rock and under tree, by the caves never sun has shone, by streams that never find the sea. It's cool weather, and a salty smell, the sand feeling like one of those old sandboxes at recess you would play on. And snug in the corner was the Toth home, which was built into the bottom of a large ancient tree, a two-story chalky white painted beach house, worn from years of exposure to the salty sea air, with thin white wood pillars holding the second floor up, one of them having a black metal plaque with golden Mandarin lettering, Toth family, 𝒲𝒾𝓏'𝓈. Climbing up the winding stairway to the little nice balcony with a wooden rocking chair with a Mongolian pattern quilt over its top and a fire pit, they enter. Going through a little hall, their feet touching the soft, dusty gray carpet, with the walls filled with family pictures as they enter the barely lit TV living room. The TV tea table covered with littered crushed cans of 𝒲𝒾𝓏'𝓈 lager beer, and 2 bottles of 𝒾𝓏 liquor mixed with milky brown vanilla boba tea to ease its strength. The red couch with stains of juice and obvious shacking activity across its putrid though comfy surface. There was already a man sitting on it, a half-bald Asian man with a thick black rectangle-like mustache and no beard, drinking his last bottle of 𝒾𝓏. He drank half the bottle, almost falling to his side on the couch before noticing the Toth brothers and Mutant Bunny kid in the background. "Oh, there you boys, *burp*. Your mom is in the other room. Carol, the boys are here. Oh, welcome home." Carol leaves the kitchen, a black-haired lady thin with a long face and seemingly overworked. Wearing a dark pale brown pants and business over shirt unbuttoned due to the heat, revealing her white undershirt with a picture of Celebration Taiwan New Year, which was from 3 months ago, and had her dirty blonde hair tied into 2 ponytails both going down her shoulders. "Oh, Timmy, do you mind taking out the laundry once it's done?" "Yeah," Timmy says with a drone, him then going to the room on the right, where the lightless dark-tiled room with laundry and cleaning supplies is. "Do you guys feeling pizza from that Manglia's place, or maybe the usual noodle place up the street?" "Mom, those pizzas are not even that good. Why not get beef dumplings?" Walt responds, shifting around in his wheelchair. "Listen to your mom. Burp asterisk, Walt." Brian speaks up in his drunken stupor while using the controller to switch the show from opera to the KO hissing baseball channel. Brian. Mom, can we just eat the snacks at home? Or just go to McDonald's?" Tim yelling from the other room. "Ugh, that's so bad for you, Timmy. Why not some Yasuji chicken, or the much healthier the green onion pancakes from Miss Jing's restaurant? They're your favorite." Their mom listing things out that she herself rather be eating, reminiscing old good times. "We always ate there." Walt putting his hand on his forehead and dragging it across his face, making his face droop for a little bit with his mouth ajar showing his dull teeth. Timmy poking his head from the laundry room like a chicken yells out, "I want nuggies." Then going back to doing his laundry, Xiao-lan mumbles, "I rather just have tofu and veggies honestly." Size sure. Brian Wong. The mom shouting even though she's right by the couch, in hopes of waking up her husband. "Don, don't say my full name like that. Hi." Brian tried to finish his statement, but his eyes started to close as he slowly drifted off to sleep. The mother surprisingly not responding, even though putting 2 of her fingers on the in-between of her eyebrows, 2 others on her nose's sides, like she trying to stop get plug her nose. She had to deal with his nonsense for a hot minute and no longer feels frustration about that. More so the frustration is being caused by her overly picky kids. "Can you at least get the laundry out when it's done? And wash the dishes?" Brian, slightly awake, answers in a mumble, "Sure, after the game is done." The drunken giggling man's attention turned back to the TV as his mind was high and body completely wrecked, seeing one of his favorite athletics hit the ball to a home run. "Haha, funny score." Brian makes a side eye to her, but gets distracted when his favorite baseball Taiwanese player, Jian Ming Wang, get the ball by jumping high in the air, the ball almost looking like it'd be a home run. The mother sighing, but knowing she isn't going to strain her relationship with her sons even more. Sure. Let's go, boys. Walt/Xiao-lan/Timmy, Happy Meals, with multiple toys. No, only one for each of you. If I get a crappy toy, can I steal from Walt or Xiao-lan? He looks to Timmy in a confident smile, his ears pointing to the side, as his eyes and face make a mocking grin. "You are not getting my toy. Only kids who study hard get toys." Timmy slaps Xiao-lan's shoulder and exclaims, "That's not true. Happy Meals are a luck game, right, Mom? Just get in the car, you two." Carol helps get Walt inside the car, Walt buckling himself in the middle seat, Carol rolling the wheelchair back into the house. While the Toth's mother was distracted, the rabbit boy and the chubby clown seating in the back start continuing their fight, quietly. Whisper asterisk, "I will get a good toy this year. They are just McDonald's toys, man. You just get PC game on Steam or a mobile game on your phone. It's not about the toys being practical, it's a matter of pride. Whatever you say, man, just don't be surprised if you skipping on homework affects what you get." Timmy bumps Xiao-lan aggressively, but then chooses to fold his arms and look at what Walt is doing, simply looking at the old buildings passing the window, wondering what life the workers there live, compared to his own. Meanwhile, Timmy isn't thinking that at all, just wondering if Walt was daydreaming or not. Though Xiao-lan couldn't help but notice at the edge of his vision a tall black-clothed man with some sunglasses staring from in the forest line, but when he went to take a closer look, the man disappeared entirely. "What's your malfunction, Xiao? Come on." All right. Xiao-lan looking behind him, wondering if what he saw was real or not, if it even meant anything at all. The boys and the mom get into their car and head out to get McDonald's. and come back a little bit later. Rushing upstairs the boys' single bedroom, with Happy Meal boxes with eating grins and eyes straight from the underworld. Opening the door and hoping on to Timmy's Transformers bed, Walt just willing awkwardly though efficiently using the back frame of the bed to get himself off the chair, while Xiao-lan taking off his jacket and throwing it into a corner in the room, his ears popping back up. He started rubbing them with slight pain. Once everyone got their school uniforms off, and Xiao-lan's t-shirt being wrinkly due to him never properly drying his clothes right, while the other two have a mom do it for them, are completely wrinkle-free. With all of them settled, they begin taking out unhealthy McBurgers and nuggets straight from the shores of America and stuffing it in their mouths, with Timmy with lemony Sprite, Xiao-lan with a cherry variant, and Walt simply drinking from a chocolate boba tea. Don't you think this looks a bit off? To you. Hey, as long as I get my toy, I have no complaints. Foodam. Another weird, smiling plastic Ron. Mick again. Why do I always get these instead of the Transformers? You guys get cool toys all the time. Walt takes the toy away and looks at it, and then says, No, remember when I kept getting the Soak, bobblehead airplane thing. What are you talking about? Star Wars characters are cool. I would even get the damn fat mafia boss. Then a freaking clown. His name is Mamo, my MMO. Everybody knows that. You know that anything with Ron Mick is possessed. Even the commercials? Like the Ring Man. I saw one of these toys moving on its own and getting under my blanket. Xiao-lan wanting to engage, but hearing Timmy's nonsense over and over just makes him want to shut Tim up more. That's probably your mom, Tim. It wasn't. It was moving on its own. It was possessed. It totally was. Man. It's yes. It's like that damn creepy Annabelle doll. Timmy jumping up on the bed almost collapsing off due to excessive emoting and jumping of Timmy trying to talk with words and gestures at the same time, which just ended up weirding out the Xiao-lan and Walt. Xiao-lan thinks about it and comes in with, I told you shouldn't watch that movie, dude. Just pray to your ancestors to get you a better toy. Pray to what are you talking about? My ancestors don't even know what a Playwagon 3 or Mr. Ron is, Bunman. I told you not to call me that. The boys argued some more time before Walt got tired and turned the old dusty cable TV on, playing of that video cam footage that shows a bunch of people tripping by the pool and anywhere in the backyard with a fake laugh track. Here's another goof. Before one of their favorite shows was on Cartoon Goof, CTG channel. Marshall Grain, a 80s-inspired cartoon show about a humanoid grain who is a secret agent from the Corn District who fights against the evil white breadhead, Doc Gluten, who plans to make everyone allergic to gluten so he can make everyone have an allergic reaction. This is Timmy and Xiao-lan's favorite show. The animated intro with a bunch of action would play every time and has a SpongeBob narrator voice over it. Here he is. It's Marshall Grain, the greatest defender of Corn District. El Mayor Defensor del Distrito del Maíz. That character is so crazy, but he hates gluten and I like that. Walt still savoring his chicken tendies. Because you hate gluten, because you are allergic. Timmy chuckles and pats Walt's shoulder while stealing his chicken nuggets. Asterisk eating while talking asterisk. Haha, cheese also. So many good things you missing out on. Walt watches like he is reading a car manual, says the guy who can't eat chocolate. Chocolate is gross, and everyone knows that vanilla is the best and most common close, and strawberry is second. Xiao-lan retorts, You know, Timmy, I read that chocolate has a chemical in it that makes a girl instantaneous fall in love with you. Timmy looking to Xiao-lan in a brushed way, making Walt break out in laughter, Timmy realizing and shook it off, trying to compose himself. Why would I need that? You know. Walt chuckles. You can always give a bar of chocolate to a member of Girls' Generation 1. You think I'm that dumb? Girls are more complicated, gracious, beautiful, and elegant creatures to be tricked. And those goddesses can never be overcome by that. I must train my charisma points and manly charm appeal to win those angels over. Timmy talking about his greatest passion, like he was in a character in a romance novel. Walt responds, Charisma is a born talent. No, it isn't. I saw a nerdy tub-eater marry a hot wife. She's probably has low standards. Xiao-lan being smug. Both him and Walt have the same thought as they whisper. Yeah, he'd be right. You guys just need to get out and talk to girls more. You know I have at least talked to 9 girls at our school, and you only talked to 1, Xiao-lan, and got totally rejected. You never even talked to 1. Again. And Walt, you can't just keep talking to Lily Shin all the time. She's a geek. Even though Timmy is considered the uncultured one of the group, there is no mistaking he a true conversationist when it comes to women, and the true victor in the game of life. Well, at least in Xiao-lan's and Walt's eyes. That's why we can relate to each other. Can we just go back to watching the show, Timothy? Walt, getting tired of the discussion, rubbing one of his science textbooks, making it clear what he'd rather be doing. Suddenly in cartoon ad campaign, showing the novice Ordo flag and name shows, looking to hire any Eastern Asian foreigners into the International Army, with the picture of a shirtless with a leather belt and long pale brown jeans. He is a huge-shouldered man with a short, white chin beard hugging around his face named, standing much higher than the small male and female reporters gathered around him on a red, blue, and green starry background. There is a golden-colored quote under the giant man with his fist pressed against his chest, turning his head to look to something saying, "We help the world by putting a shield around it. To make the crazy beasts to come out of the blue, the other smaller coalitions and normal nations can't finance defending themselves every day. We can if you want opportunity. Join the army, join the Europe-wide federation and serve and help your nation effectively to protect the people of the world from the villains and the warmongers that hinder peace." The president of the Novice Ordo Coalition of Europe. Hey! Isn't that the guy that blown up a bunch of tanks with his bare fists? Timmy spontaneously, yelling like he just remembered a second ago and spat it out, getting up and pointing at the TV screen. Xiao-lan's taking off his hood to hear what Tim just said more clearly. His ears he normally is very careful about moving, opening up and rising in the air, turning toward Tim, interest piqued, noticing with a wicked grin. "You mean from the found footage? That could have been faked. I thought you said you liked the footage." "Well, I do. It's just hard to believe is all. You know, having nukes for fists. That stuff is real. It absolutely happened." "Oh, really?" Xiao-lan asking, curious, ears and eyes going toward Walt to his other side, still sitting on his wheelchair like always. Tim peeking his head over and nearly laughing at the rare sight of a problem he likes to hide. "How do you know that?" "I read it on a Reddit forum." "Oh," Timmy winding up. "So taking things from Reddit is completely reasonable, but putting 2 chocolate brownies together with vanilla ice cream is an abomination? How the heck do you even manage to get brownies?" Walt rolling to Tim, looking at his brother dead in the eyes. "Brother, don't say that word around Xiao-lan." It's okay, Walt. You don't have to hide your feelings around us, Xiao-lan dash. And oh no, it's fine. It's about the intent. Xiao-lan. And how the heck do you even manage to get brownies here, Tim? Xiao-lan changing the topic, Walt just looking to the ground and sighing in a quiet breath. All the shops on nearly this whole island are noodle soup, broth, chicken, beef, and some rice and vegetables. If you look for people with similar interests, you can find what you're looking for. Xiao-lan responding with only a loud hmph sound, in almost an agreeable sort of way. Later that night, Timmy challenged Xiao-lan to try to finish one of the final bosses of Forest Night, being a mad purple clown with angel wings trying to destroy the world. But the boys were jamming to Dancing Mad too, much to beat it, and gave up in after 30 minutes. After a while the boys had their fun of TV and turned it off to started doing math homework. After a couple hours of yawns and Timmy finishing up a few questions not part of the teacher's lesson, they yawn for a final time and sleep together in bed, in the comfy Toth home on the moonlit calm beach. When the brothers start sleeping, a Xiao-lan smiles, leaning over the body and lifting up slightly over the chilled-out Timmy, snoring like an elephant, and Walt somehow snoring louder with worrying gasps in between. Xiao-lan picked up the mini handy bag he brought with him, unzipping the bag as quietly as possible and looking around. Taking out his headphones and a physical tape, worn from overuse. Putting it into a tape player and putting his headphones, the tape called The Glass Princess, A Dream. Your heart makes. Then bouncing to his side and looking through the window with tired, flickering eyes, then pressing play. The night eventually goes away, the moon sitting to sleep and the sun rising to wake all the lazy bums, the sounds of waves crashing muffled by the layer of wall separating the kids from the outside air. Xiao-lan woke first, taking off his headphones quickly and putting away the tape. They all soon woke up and started getting ready, Timmy taking a shower while the Xiao-lan brushed their teeth, putting his hands over his right eye, promising not to look to the embarrassed Timmy. After they finished, Timmy helped Walt take a shower, while Xiao-lan borrowed Timmy's clothes to wear and put the homework stuff and laptop into his backpack. After Walt and Timmy put on new clothes in the bathroom and Walt brushed, they came out and were ready to leave. The Toths didn't need backups since it was Saturday. Suddenly, Walt goes into a violent coughing and falling down to the ground while Timmy was holding on to him, trying to get him to the wheelchair. Timmy exclaims, "Walt, don't worry, we'll get the medicine. We can do your homework for you. Just get the medicine." Coughs. I am. I need to. Walt gets more nasty cough. To go with you, I want to finish my homework myself, man. Okay, hold tight, Walt. Timmy rushes downstairs with his mom being heard asking what is going on. After being told, Carol Toth immediately comes up with Timmy to help Walt get on his wheelchair and take the medicine. This is what happens when you boys yell at each other all night. You two need to control yourselves now. Xiao-lan/Timmy. Yes, ma'am. Xiao-lan asked if they could go to the library to study, as he doesn't want to get behind the exam, and especially not Timmy to fail the exam. Walt was doing all right with the school work, though. He was pretty smart. He only had some homework missing on the days he goes really sick, which sadly was a common thing for Walt because of his condition. It seemed to lose a significant amount of hair every day left on the pillow. The Toths agreed to go to the library, and Xiao-lan's dad said it was all right after Xiao-lan called him. Going outside to see the raising sun, Xiao-lan quickly puts his jacket, not wanting the rest of the world to see him. But Timmy was silent, staying on the beach shore. Timmy looked with a somber expression at the big blue beyond, the loud salty bubble foams at the tops of the waves losing mass as it reached the tips of Timmy's shoes, pushing some wet sand and a pinky-sized crab on them and scuttling. A way to find a seashell to hide in. Xiao-lan touched Timmy's shoulder and shook him a little to snap Timmy out of his funk, Xiao-lan giving a side eye, not fully knowing what was going on in Timmy's head, only guessing. Timmy, are you okay? Why are you out here and not with Walt? It was so long ago now. I thought I would get over it. I remember us showing up on the shore a little east from here. Timmy pointing to Xiao-lan's right side, by tropical forest line covering the side view of the ocean. He was sighing, but seeing Timmy suffering. Since he had time, Xiao-lan decided to sit down and listen to one of the few friends he had. Okay, you talking about how you came here, Tim? Yeah? Timmy's voice and tone was in a monotone, completely unheard for the normally carefree and girl-obsessed kid, but even he had his bad days, always running away from what happened. But he never forgot every time he looked to the edge of the sea. My mom told me about my father 7 years ago. We came from the country called Albania. My father was a sort of unknown but an expert hardy fisherman dash. Yeah, Barnaby's right. Yeah. ****. Him and my mother went on countless adventures across Eastern Europe before they married. Shortly before I and Walt were born, the winds from the sea started to pick up a bit as the water rose higher and higher with every wave that hit the shore. The temperature getting colder and colder, Timmy looking on straight at the sea and nowhere else, his attention unbreakable. He was born off from a wealthy family, but set his sights on learning and going around the world rather than being in a forced marriage. He borrowed a lot of money, but it ran out after he married my mom. So, he had to work as a fisherman for a hot minute. He didn't have experience, but he told me, "Experience don't matter, kid. Only what you can tell, and if you can back that up." I didn't remember much growing up in that country, only having an old NES console and a dusty Wii that my mom found in a rotted box in thrift store down the road from our shabby port home. We were going by nicely for a while. It was only around when Walt was 3, and when I was 6 that my dad had the idea. He wanted to take the biggest risk. Yeah, he tried to go across the Pacific with you guys on a cruise. Your mom told us the story, Dash. Xiao-lan, please. Phew, sorry. Timmy took a breath from his sudden yelling and continued. Yeah, she told it. My mom argued it was dangerous. She thinks it even more so now. You see how she freaked out when Walt was coughing. Timmy pointing to the house, only glancing with a side-eye back to the little 2-story beach house, but still not fully breaking eye contact with the ocean. Yup. I thought she was going to throw me out the window and gave you a spanking or something. Timmy disagrees with this conclusion, gesturing that away. Nah. I get why you think that. But she isn't like that. She just lost. She doesn't trust people a lot now. She trusted Dad back then. My father's ideas. I think she said the prices kept rising for the cruise, and that's why we couldn't go on the cruise ship instead. Not being able to pay for that, my dad decided of getting his own boat in 𝒲𝒾𝓏'𝓈, East Africa, and then sailing to India and explore the vast countryside, delicious spicy food, and the unique customs. My mom said he got the idea from a rerun of National Geographic India on the TV. In the end, I think we got something like that, with Taiwan. We traveled on train, then hitchhiking to Madrid of Spain. Dad paying €971 to his older brother, my uncle 𝒲𝒾𝓏'𝓈, so he can pay his old pals in 𝒲𝒾𝓏𝓈 to get a boat ready under the name Barnaby's and Carol Toth family. The plane was to the seaside capital of 𝒲𝒾𝓏𝓈, Mogadishu, where the locals gave us the family-sized sailing ship and said their goodbyes. My dad planned on sailing to island of 𝒲𝒾𝓏'𝓈, which is right under India, but several storms kept putting them in the wrong course. We landed in Kedah, Malaysia, a few days later and got completely lost. I don't remember much of the rest, just that my dad got along with the locals and worked as a fisherman in Selangor, only getting hired since some fishermen kept going missing or something. My dad tried to get in touch with his brother, but he couldn't reach him. We were pretty much stuck there for a year, until my dad got some funds to leave. Asterisk chuckles a little asterisk. That was fun, met some interesting friends there. Any more interesting after? They were more poorer. Sighs. The year went fast, and we left the country. My dad was confident in our course. All I remember is him saying, "Those were freak storms in the main sea. We will just circle around the Philippines and get to the bottom of Australia and live with the Brits." Timmy almost said with a mocking voice, feeling spiteful and angry. But it didn't exactly turn out that way. My dad followed the coast of the Philippines, but several storms kept coming at us and pushing us further and further away from course. Then, Timmy starts choking on his own words. Then, the clouds that were turning dark now have become completely black, and the sea and wind started to roar. Xiao-lan moving away from the waters in fear, he maybe scoped up, but Tim didn't move. He was imagining the sea in front of him turning into a wild storm. Loud, painful winds, and crushing cruel waves. "Hey, Timmy, listen, just relax. I know what happened. You got caught in the storm, you said. It was like a god hitting his fist against the sea and sky. You don't have to continue if you want. I want to. I didn't tell you the rest. My mom, me, and my brother made it to land, where you, your father, and the entire community were there to save us and shelter us. But my dad sacrificed his mortal life to save us." Timmy sobbed slightly, but not letting Xiao-lan see it, and quickly holding it in breaths in and out to calm himself, then continuing in a monotone. "We had a spare rift on the boat. My dad got me, my brother and Mom on. But the rift was still connected to the boat, so he had to untie the rift, and a big wave came over, and he was gone. Eventually the waves took us as well, but we were hanging on to the boat and managed to get to shore. If I was brave," asterisk struggles and breath, asterisk, Timmy struggled with his last sentence. He thought it in his mind clearly, but his body struggled to let those words be in reality. His face red and bushed, his throat tightened, eyes wet. He cranked out those hard words, the weight of guilt, out of his soul. He looked Xiao-lan straight in the eyes, with a sorrow he almost never displayed. "I could have helped him. I might have made it faster and he could have been saved." Xiao-lan came up closer, pausing as he struggled to up with the right words. And even after he says it, he still felt like it wasn't good enough. "The past is the past, you said it yourself. Don't get caught up in the past. Like the song you listened to recently, Ziegler Albert's, Don't Get Caught Up with the Negatives of the World. That's a really good song. But that's different from what happened to my father. I still could have." Walt finally coming back out of the house in his wheelchair, going down the little ramp to the soft sand. It seems like he was okay. "Hey guys, I don't want to pressure you all or anything, but we only got so many hours to study. Can you guys talk about this another day?" Xiao-lan turns back to Timmy, putting his hand on his shoulder much like his adoptive father. "Yeah, you ready, Timmy?" Timmy shallows a deep gulp and breaths in the salty air, then nods as he puts out his hand as Xiao-lan grabs it and pulls his flabby body off the sand into his feet. Walt, staring on, moves upward to gesture for them to get going. While they go to the tropical forested passage that leads back to 𝒲𝒾𝓏'𝓈, Timmy looks behind him, seeing the imaginary storm still overhead but still and silent, the waves becoming normal, though the threat of its destruction still lingering. While walking to the library, Timmy asks what Xiao-lan is planning to do after middle school. "I'm likely to go to 𝒲𝒾𝓏'𝓈 Vocational High, which is too far on foot, so my father would to drive me there." "Why, guys? Do you think the Xiu gang will try to find us?" "Why, guys? Do you think the Xiu gang will try to find us?" "Oh crap, I forgot about that." "No worries, man. They will probably forget about it until school. Not really worth losing our minds about, Bun." "What? What were you going to say, huh?" Xiao-lan being cheeky with his arms crossed, bumping shoulders with Tim, still looking behind him to anyone looking. In the end, Xiao-lan will always be awkward,